This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, myself Kishore. Okay, just want to introduce myself, and yeah, I have 12 years of experience in IT sector and working on a middleware. Okay, and I have different experience in different middleware technologies like TIBCO, MuleSoft, and 1 minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, like different middleware technologies, and I'm teaching these classes since 5 years. So basically, right now we are working on MuleSoft fourth version. Okay, so I trained some people from 3.1 to till date. The latest version is of 4.2.2. So this is a brief about myself. Uh, I'll going forward. I'll let you know like what is the training classes and how the course is. What are the opportunities we have. So before going to that, I just want to know like what is your background and how much you have knowledge on this middleware technology, so that I can proceed like how what are the concepts I need to cover in this training course. So I hope there is only Soumya is there, right?
Yes, yes, Kishore.
Yeah, tell me Soumya.
Uh, yeah, hi Kishore. This is Soumya. I have a total. I have experience 5.2 years experience in Cognizant. It's not
Okay, good.
related to IT. I have worked in multiple domains.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any experience IT sector.
So what domain did you work? Which domain you are in right now?
Right now I'm in finance domain. You know, mortgage.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. In that I
banking
have.
sector.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
banking sector only.
okay, fine. Okay, so you don't have any knowledge on these middleware, like what is a middleware and what is a front end, what is a back end.
No, 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 no idea.
So then why did you learn Python? I mean, how, where you are working on Python?
Actually, my friends have suggested me to learn in MuleSoft. We have a lot of what I have to say
So
openings,
how much experience
right?
do you
So
have?
that's the reason. Sorry, I didn't get you.
How much experience do you have right now? So any sector,
5.2 years.
5.2 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In Cognizant.
Cognizant. Okay. Currently we're
Yeah.
working on Python code. So
No, no,
in, I
no.
mean,
Currently, I'm working in finance sector.
finance sector, okay. Which technology?
No, no, no. Only finance only. It's not
Finance domains.
technology. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
okay,
not
okay.
related to IT.
Okay, okay. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just go through what is a middleware and front and back end. Okay.
Okay.
Then we will start with the middleware. And inside the middleware, again, there are different type of teams we have, like development team, testing team, production team. Okay. And we have some analyst. BA we call it as business analyst. So there are different type of
Okay.
multiple type of teams are there. And as you said, like like our domains. So there are different type of domains also. So we don't have any consideration like we need to work on only this domain like this, because this is a middleware. It will exist across all domains, like a banking sector, financial, okay, financial,
Okay.
telecom, or IT. Okay, so across all domains, you can see the middleware technology. Okay, that is a right now backbone for the IT. Okay, so I just to go through the front and back end concept. So like what Amazon.com or Flipkart right now what we are seeing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So if you
yeah.
see Amazon.com, let me share my screen. Yeah, let me know when you are seeing my screen. So are
No
you able
one
to see
is
my
there
screen?
to join for this session.
There is one more guy there, but I think he's trying to connect from mobile, so you don't have internet. You don't have, I think, right now. to be checking
Okay,
that.
fine. Okay, no problem.
Okay, if you see this is a front end. Are you able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, currently I've opened Amazon.com website. Okay, so actually what we are doing here, when I click on this web URL like Amazon.in, then we are getting some kind of information here, right? And
Yes.
after that, if suppose I want to get the type of electronics, or if I click on electronics, what will happen? It will reload some data, another data, which is particularly or specific to the electronics devices. Okay, like here he has some different type of accessories, headphones, whatever it may be. So whenever
Yeah.
I am doing some click here, so there is something at backend. Behind this, there is some IT, there is some coding is going on. So you can consider this is your front end. With respect to the end user nothing but I'm an end user right now, because I'm a customer for this Amazon.com. Okay, when I'm
Yes.
opening this, as for customer, this is a front end to him. Okay,
Yes.
when I click on these accessories, then what will happen? There is someone needs to be there to listen what is our task. Based on the
Yes.
task which is doing by the customer, it will give some information back to the front end. Okay, now coming to the backend and middleware concept. Okay, fine, I will show you one more PPT here. So let us consider one example. I will take some domain, okay, telecom domain. It's easy to understand, okay, because in daily life we know like how to get a mobile and how to recharge ourselves. And if suppose in case sim, if we want to change our sim card, then how we will approach. So we know all these things. That is a
Yeah.
basic domain. Okay, instead of finance, I'm going to take a telecom. Later I will discuss about the finance. Okay,
Okay.
so let us take one example. If suppose I want to purchase a new sim card, then what I will do first, I will take one application, or I will reach, I will customer care, and they will give some application form, either it's an electronic or printed paper. So we will fill and we will submit to the customer care, right?
Yes.
Then what he
Yes.
will do, customer care will people will gather your information, and they will send it to the across different departments. Now what are the departments here? So if suppose if I want to purchase a sim card, what we need one sim card, right? The
Yeah.
physical card what we are seeing. And the second thing
Yes.
is we need to discuss about the package. So what
Yes.
kind of plan do you have, do you need it? So that is a package discussion. And after that, what will be the billing? And after
Yes.
billing, so if I want, how they will do the bill based on your package. So based on your call records and what are the, I mean, what kind of data you are using, we choose. Based on all these things, there is a one more department who do the calculations. Okay, that is a CDR, like call recording center. Okay,
Yes.
so what they will do, they will record all whatever we are doing here. So based on that, they will do the billing. That is a one more department. Other than that, what we have, suppose if it is a telecom, I mean, if it is a landline, there are different type of mobile connections we have. So
Yes.
suppose if it is like a mobile telephone, mobile, then it is entirely automated. If it in case it is a telephone or broadband connection, what they will do, there is a one more engineer will come to your home, and they will investigate all these things, like whether they have the port number or ports are available or wire is available or not, LAN connection is available or not. All these things, physical verification will be there. Based on that, that is a different department, right? Physical department.
Yes.
And now you can consider there is only one customer care center, CRM.
Okay.
So he can pass the same information with the different departments, like a billing team, the package team, and this physical department. And also there is another department, like if suppose you want to recharge your mobile online, then there is another online concept, like you can pay your bill from Paytm, or you can pay from Phone Pay. So these are the different type of departments. They are individual companies you can consider, right? So but first, basically what they want, they need your basic informations. So like what is the name, what is the address, and what kind of number we are going to give. So if they want allocate a number, there is another department where it can look like whether this number is available or not. Okay, so what are the given numbers, and based on the region, state, and district, all these things they will consider. They have some criteria. Based on that, they will assign one mobile number. So that is also another department.
Yes.
So they need to pass the same information across the different departments. Okay, if we consider minimum, if you take this telecom, at least there are 20 to 50 departments are involved in this process. Okay, now consider. So this is, you can see this diagram. There is a CRM. CRM nothing but your customer care. So they have
Like
some
it's a
applications.
hub. We can consider it as a hub, right? Hub.
Yes. Hub nothing but, not hub. You can say like, if suppose if you visit any stores like customer care centers or any department like what retail departments, right? What they will see, if say,
Yeah.
if suppose you buy something, then they will do, they enter the code and they will see all the details like what is the price, how many, based on the items they can calculate the total price, right? That is a CRM, the customer relationship management application. So directly
Okay.
that that screen is interacting with the customer. Maybe you end customer is not interacting, but there is a salesperson, right? He will interacting with the application. That is a customer care management application. Same way, if you suppose if you go to the Airtel or post Vodafone or BSNL customer care center, what they will do, based on your number, if they will ask your number or Aadhaar card, based on that they will give some information. So whatever the application they are using, that is a CRM. And the same in the banking sector also. If you go the bank, if you go to bank and if you want to see something, some details based on your account number, they will take the account number. They will see about your details. That is the CRM. So whatever the application which is interacting with the customer, that we call it as a customer care management application. Okay. So that is a basic system. So from there, it will go through the different departments. Okay, so let us take this CRM. The CRM application you can design in different ways using different languages. Let us take, this was implemented based on the Java language or C++ or C#, or PHP, whatever it may be. If consider this is a implemented using a Java. Now there is a one more system which is implemented based on the C#. And there is a one more system which is implemented based on the Keynon. If let us take that billing, if they want to do some billing, some set of instructions are there. So for constructing billing application, might be Keynon is the different language that is easy to build a billing application. So they can use the Keynon technology here. The same way, there is a one more department where you can store the data. Suppose I'm getting some data here and I want to store somewhere. Either it is a file or it is in a database. Okay. So again, if it is a database, there might be a different type of database available, right? Like Oracle, IBM. So these are the different type of databases. Again, that is a different technology. There might be SQL language. They are using inside the SQL language. And there is another web store. Like suppose I want to get some information. So let us take if on based on that Aadhaar card, whether he has another mobile number or not, he want to check it. So through the web portal, there might be another web portal where he can interact internally, right? This might be
Yeah.
implemented based on PHP or JavaScript. These are the different technologies, but the CRM wants to interact with all these departments or applications. Now we can call it as application instead of departments. Okay, so the multiple applications are there. A single, if suppose it want to interact, the CRM wants to interact with all these applications. How they will interact? Suppose I want to interact with some person who know Hindi, okay, but I don't know Hindi, then how can I interact? I cannot interact with him. If I want to interact, definitely I should know like a Hindi language. The same way here, if CRM like a Java application want to interact with the PHP, then what it needs to do, you need to write some coding which can, or adapter. So we need to write some code where it can adopt the PHP language. Okay, let it be, I'm expert in Java, I can do it, I can write it, and I can create one adapter to interact with a PHP application. The same
PHP.
way,
Okay.
if suppose I want to interact with the SQL, then again I need to create another adapter,
Yes.
right? So if there are multiple applications here with the different languages, then I should know, or I should write for coding for all the applications. That is a very difficult. Okay, so if it is only one-to-one application, let us say there is only two applications. One is a CRM, another is billing. Okay, there are only two systems are involved in this project. Then definitely I don't require any third party. Directly I can write, because okay, a few lines of code might be more there where I can create another adapter. But if I want to interact with different applications at different times, then this is a very complex. It will increase the coding. Okay, and nowadays we know like how difficult to analyze the code which is written by, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
instead of that, to avoid all these things, so there is a one approach called a middleware. So this is a P2P integration. So whatever the screen which we are seeing, point to point integration, we call it as. Like if I want to interact with the CRM, definitely I need to have one connection between these two. If I want interaction between CRM with other sources, then definitely I need another connection. So these are the mesh network. Okay. So instead of that, there is a one more approach called a middleware. So here what we will do, there is another technology, call it as a middleware, which can interact with all the applications, because in the CSP there are already inbuilt adapters are available. Okay, so what I want to do now, right, what I will do, if suppose CRM wants to interact with ERP, then simply what I will do, I will send a request to this middleware saying that I want to interact with the ERP and send this information to ERP. Then what this ESB will do, it will take the information from the CRM using the another adapter which is understand by the CRM language. Then it will convert into the ESB language or middleware language. Either it is a XML or it is a text format, whatever it may be. That is based on your ESB tool. So it will convert into a single language. And again here there is one more adapter at ERP, and that ERP will convert this XML to the understandable language, which is understood by the ERP. Okay, so that there are inbuilt adapters. I don't want to write any more code here. So this CRM can interact with any person without knowing others languages. Okay, and also there is a transaction. I mean, if you see this on the old one, this is a mesh network, right? So the traffic will be very high. The traffic, whatever the data which is transferring, that is very high, very huge, and it will take very longer time. Here it will reduce that. Okay, and also in future, if suppose I don't want this application here, okay, let us consider this DWH. I don't want, I want to remove that application, the entire application. Then what you need to do, you need to do all these changes, because here it is interact. If suppose this ERP want to interact with the DWH, there is some code, then we need to
Yes.
reduce that code, or we need to eradicate it, right? So all these
Yes.
things, there are a lot of changes we need to do here. But in case of ESB, it is not like that. If suppose I don't want this, simply I can decouple this. And the same way, if suppose I want to add one more application here, I can easily couple it. But here in P2P, it is very difficult. Okay. Likewise, there are n number of advantages are there because of this ESB. Okay. So now coming to the point, ESB nothing but enterprise service bus. We call it as a middleware. We call it as a ESB. Okay. So basically, this is a bus where it is carrying the information from one application to another application.
Okay.
Okay. So now, what are the different type of ESB tools which are available in the market currently? Okay, so there are like right now, the TIBCO is another technology. So that is also middleware or ESB. TIBCO,
Tipco. Okay.
TIBCO. Okay, that is not right now. A few years back, that is a major tool where it, where it is occupied all sectors or all domains. Okay,
Okay.
but due to some disadvantages, like the TIBCO was purchased by some corporate which is related to the infrastructure. So after take out that TIPCO, then there are a lot of changes in that technology or license and all these things. So people what they have done is they are looking for the alternative technologies. Okay,
Like
so there is
DIPCO is a
another technology called,
technology. Sorry
yeah,
for interrupt you. DIPCO is a like one more technology.
yes, it is a technology, and also it is a
Okay.
different company. Okay, separate
Like it
company, one
is
separate,
used for. Yeah, it is used for.
just like a MuleSoft,
Okay, okay, fine.
just like a MuleSoft, like if see Oracle Fusion. Okay, Oracle is a
Okay.
company. Inside Oracle, there are different type of tools. Oracle Fusion, SQL Developer, or SQL Oracle Database. Okay, so there are different type of technologies in a Oracle company. Okay,
Okay.
the same way TIPCO is also a company, but they are implementing only one technology that is called TIPCO.
Okay.
The same way MuleSoft is also one company. It is
Okay.
implemented only ESB, like MuleSoft only. But now MuleSoft bought in by the um Salesforce. Now Salesforce is a company. Inside the Salesforce, they have different technologies like a Salesforce developers and MuleSoft. So there are different type of technologies available. Okay,
Okay.
there are, you need to consider two things. One is a company, another is a technology. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Yes, yes.
So now TIPCO is the only technology, but who is the company owner? Now it is a different company, that is a infrastructure company. TIPCO is
Okay.
no more company; it is only tool. Okay, clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in a MuleSoft, like why they choose the MuleSoft only instead of TIPCO or Oracle Fusion? There is a one more tool called Oracle Fusion, and also IBM Web Methods. IBM company also implemented one more middleware, that is IBM Web Fusion. So likewise, there are n number of middleware technologies are available in the market right now.
Okay.
Okay, why MuleSoft? Why means one major thing is it's a very easy to implement these applications using MuleSoft,
Okay.
because it's a graphical user interface and they have a number of adapters. So we need to consider the adapters when we are talking about the enterprise service bus, because if there
Okay.
are n number of uh, adapters, then you can interact with the n number of applications. Let us take, I want to interact with the Facebook. Okay, I don't know like what technology they used for Facebook, but I want to interact. Then if ESB knows like that adapter, then I can easily interact with the Facebook. The same if I want to interact with the Twitter. So what I can do, if suppose I have a ESB here adapter, then definitely I can easily interact with the Twitter, right?
Twitter. Yes.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, my laptop is restarting. Give me 2 seconds. So meanwhile, do you have any idea on SQL or like a database?
Little bit, not that much.
Okay. What about operating systems like Unix?
I have learned in my BTech. That's it. I didn't take in
Okay.
any courses.
Which branch are you in BTech?
CSE, computer science.
Huh?
Computer science,
CSE.
CSE. Yeah.
Oh, okay then. Okay, it's good. It's not a problem. So easily. So this is about the ESB and why a MuleSoft. There is a lot of history about MuleSoft marketing. So as I said, like a Salesforce is a company which is brought by this ESB tool, and Salesforce is one of the front-end tool, just like Amazon.com. Inside Amazon.com, they are using a Salesforce to implement this front end.
Yes.
Okay, they are using a Salesforce technology. Not only this Amazon, but there are a number of applications currently using Salesforce technology. Okay, so wherever they are using a Salesforce, they are promoting the middleware technology, call it as a MuleSoft.
MuleSoft.
Okay, that is a one more advantage. Yeah, that is a one more advantage for the MuleSoft. Okay, so and also if you compare with the previous other technologies, other companies like other alternating tools like TIBCO and Oracle Fusion, as I said, like there are a number of adapters are there, and also you can write anything here. If suppose you want to implement a Java, you want to write some Java code in a MuleSoft, you can write it. If you want to write some Python code in a ESB, you can write it. That feasibility also they have given. And also this is a very security. One of the major advantage for MuleSoft is the security. They have n number of layers which are provided by the MuleSoft. Okay, nowadays if you consider like a finance or IT sectors, I mean telecom, all will look for the security, right?
Yes,
So there are
obviously.
a number of different level of securities are available, and those are inbuilt provided by the MuleSoft. That is also another advantage. Okay, basically it is look like this. Okay, this is the tool. Okay, this is AnyPoint Studio, we call it as. Again, in MuleSoft there are different type of tools. So as I said, like we have different type of teams, right? Development, testing, and production. And there is one more team like a business analyst, who will
Okay.
get the business and that directly interacting with the business team. Okay, now as a developers, what we are doing here. So first what we will do, so this is a development life cycle. Okay, not only for MuleSoft, but ideally this is a common for all technologies. In case of MuleSoft, how we will do, there is a little bit different approach, but the concept is same. So what first we will do, first we will do the design. Okay, the inner circle, if you see the inner circle, this is a design. So where inside the design there are people who will interact with the business team is business analyst. Okay, along with the business analyst there is a technical team lead, and there might be some senior developers. What they will do, first they will understood what is their requirement. Based on the
Okay.
requirement, they will do some simulation test. Okay,
Okay.
like they will create some sample request and response, and they will provide to the customers, the end user, not end user, the business people. Then they will give some feedback. Based on the feedback, we will do some validations. Once the validation is done, then we will go for the coding. This is a
Okay.
traditionally what we are doing in a MuleSoft. But in case of other than MuleSoft, what they will do, directly they will get the data, they will get the information or the requirement, and directly they will go for the development. Once the development is completed, then they will go for the testing. Once testing is
Yes.
done, then they will do the delivery to the code team like a business. Then they will do the validations. If anything goes wrong or it will deviate from the requirement, then again you need to start from the build, right? To avoid
Yes.
all these things, what here we will do, we will do some design first. Design estimate based on the requirement, we'll do some design, and then we'll do the simulation in front of
Simulation.
the customer, in front of the client, and we'll get the feedback and we'll do the validation. If still required, then again we will go the design. So once this validation is successful, so we will create one specification document. We call it as a RAML in a MuleSoft. So using that
Okay.
specification document, we will create a development. So here, this is a development. Once development is completed, again we will go for the testing. After testing again, it is a deployment, troubleshootings and monitoring, everything will be there. That is a live product. Okay.
Okay.
So in each case, in each level, we have different tools. Okay. So in previously, like before MuleSoft, if we were working with TIBCO, what we will do first, we will do the initial documentations using a Word document, Word or Excel, all these things. Based on that, we'll do the design and we'll do some simulations. But in a MuleSoft, there is a tool where you can easily do the documentation using API Designer. There is a tool called API Designer. Using this designer, we will create a design. So where they can see the the client will see the graphical user interface like this API console, where they can test it. That is a validation. Okay. So once they test and they will do the validation and we'll get the feedback. Once we are done with this, then we will go for the development. This is the development stage. For the development again, there is a one more tool called Anypoint Studio. Once development is completed, there is a next step is like a testing.
Testing.
Okay. So ideally we have a testing team, okay, where they can test the different scenarios. But in our case, we have, though they have a different team for testing, but before that, MuleSoft is providing one more feature called it as a unit test cases. So it automatically generates the test cases. Okay, even you don't want to write any coding, so it will automatically generate a test cases and it will do the some test scenarios. Okay, so that as a developer you can confident on your product while delivering to the customer or client.
Yes.
Okay, so that feature is also available here. So after that, we will deliver to the clients. So these are the
Client.
tools which we are going to work. So out of all these tools, like if we consider here, there are API Designer and API Console
Console.
and Exchange. There are only 4 tools are available here, and then here there is a one more tool, that is the Anypoint Studio.
Any point.
So
It's
90%
used
of
for development
developers,
side.
yes, 90% of developing work will be on this Anypoint Studio, where we are writing a code. Only 10 to 20% we will do on a design center. Okay, so this is a basic, like we are going to create a documentation, but instead of using a Word, Excel, all these things, directly we can do everything inside the tool itself. That is only 10 to 20%. Okay, and also here, the what we call tech leads. Okay, tech leads will involve in this design instead of the developers or architecture. Basically, architecture will see based on the scale of your project. If it is a major project, then architect will involve. If it is a simple project, then the tech lead will involve. Or if it's a very small project, then the developer, senior developer, will go and interact with the business. Okay, so they will design all these things. So once they will design, then they will segregate the data and they will call it as a sprint. I will let you know later. Like they will cut the piece of data and the piece of information will hand over to the developers to implement. That is the Anypoint Studio where we are working. Okay, so briefly, these are the tools, different tools which are available in a MuleSoft, like Anypoint Design Center, Anypoint Exchange, Runtime Manager, connectors, runtime services, and there is a cloud also available, Mule Cloud, but that is a hybrid one. So if you want, you can use it. Otherwise, majorly finance sectors or telecom sectors not depend on the cloud. It's okay. They will store their data in their server only. So this is about the brief about the MuleSoft, and I will show you the tool also. So let us take, if I want to interact with I will show you like how much simple to create one application. Suppose I'm going to give some like a website, just like Amazon.com. Okay, likewise. So like, right, this is Amazon.com is a domain name. We call it as a domain name. But in background, they have some IP address. Okay, like a 10.0.00. And colon 9091 port number.
Yes.
Okay, See here, localhost 8081, nothing but. Now if suppose I want to interact with my computer, okay, then this might be the backend address, localhost colon 8081. So if I
Like
click this,
8081 we have to use every time, right?
that is a port number. So depending on your so if they like again, port number is nothing but one application will use one port number. If that port is occupied, you cannot deploy another application on the same port. Each application might
Like,
have different port numbers.
okay, who will give that port number? Like,
Yeah. So for each and every application, the background, you have a port number and you have a address, like IP address. Even if this is called it as amazon.com, right? Amazon.in.
yes,
In backend,
yes.
there is some IP address along with the port number. Okay. So suppose see, I'm going to create one website, not a major, a simple one, where I can give some hi and I want to get some information here, like a hello. Okay. So just like amazon.com, if I'm clicking here that electronics are bestsellers, so I'm getting some information, right? The same way, if I click here, if I submit, then I want to get some information here. So someone wants to listen this request and they need to send a response back to this website. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a if you go through this file,
Uh, Kishore, your voice is breaking. I'm
so
unable to
here
hear.
I'm going to create a mule project. Yeah. So just I'm going to create a simple project here. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the different type of versions which are right now available. Like the 4.2.2 is the enterprise editions currently using in the market. 4.3.3 is the experiment. They are going to do some more experiment here. They want to do everything in online. So right now, if suppose I want to work on this Anypoint Studio, I need to install this software. Okay. In going forward, even they don't want to install the software here. Software as a solutions, do you have any idea on that?
No.
Okay, so everything, you don't want to install anything, just you need internet so that you can achieve, you can do everything inside the website. So like this, so I will show you that
Okay.
also later. So these are the different type of versions right now available. So I'm going to work on the Mule 4.2.2 because this is the version which we are using right now, not only here, everywhere. Okay,
4.2 dot.
2.2,
Okay.
this one, enterprise edition. So what is another advantage here is, if you create a project, automatically it will create all the required folders. So see here, there are different type of folders are available, right?
Yes.
So if it is in case of C, C++ or Java or any other languages, you need to create all these project structure. Okay.
Okay.
Right now in Java also there is a one more tool called Spring Boot. So it is advanced technology. It is also generating all these project structure. Okay. Other than that, you need to create these folder structures, but here you don't want to do that. See here. So this is a one folder, that is SRC. Inside the SRC, you have a main folder. Inside the main folder, you have a Mule, Java, resources. Again, there is a one more folder called testing. So if you want to create any test cases, then you can put under these three folders. Okay. Now see, first I will implement this project and then we will see the details. So this is a project.xml. This we call it as a workspace. Okay, design space where you can do the design, and this is
Okay.
called it as a project explorer, so where you can see the project content. And see here there is a palettes. Okay, so where we
Real
have
time.
different type of palettes. Yeah, so palette nothing but inside the palette you have adapters, connectors, and there are different type of applications, I mean palettes are available. So palette nothing but a kind of a package. Okay, if in terms of like Java, C++, we have a packages, right? The same way there is a one package which is in a graphical user interface. So let us, what is our requirement right now? There is a one website. This is a website. I want to interact with this website, or if suppose I get a request from this website, I need to send a response back to this website. That is my requirement. For that, what I will do here, I will take some listener. As I said, like, so what we need some listener who can take this request from the website. So, okay, this is the address. If I click this address, someone needs to be there to listen and quit the request. So that we call it as a listener. Okay, before going to this listener, first we need to create a flow. So basically in a middleware, what we are doing is we are going to create a flows. We are not writing any coding here. We are creating a flow, and after that we need to do some configurations. Okay, this is a project. This is a project name. Inside the project we have two things. One is a source and one is the process. So source is nothing but, so who are the listeners? Like, see, suppose I'm getting a request from this website. Okay, there is a HTTP listener here in a source. Source contain only one component or one palette, but in process you can have n number of palettes or n number of components. Okay, I'll show you. You will get to know like that. So first, what I will do? So listener, I need a listener here. Source, inside the source, I'm going to take it as a HTTP listener. Okay, just I dragged and dropped here. Now this is a configuration. So what we need to do? So who is going to interact with us? Localhost 8081.
Hello.
Right? So based on that, I'm going to do this configuration here. So this is a connector configuration that as of now we call it as an adapter, right? That is a connector. So this is a connector listener component. Inside the listener component, we are going to configure this connector. So here there is a plus sign. So if you click on it, then here I'm going to provide a localhost and 8081. If you want to interact, if someone is interacting with you like amazon.in, then again here you can write like amazon.in and you can give some port number. Okay, that is basically, this is the address where we are getting the data. Okay, and I will give some path here. We don't want to give any path, just give one slash. So if you see here, so previously we have a red symbol here. Okay, let me drag one more component here. See, if suppose I want to drop this set payload component in a source, you can't do it. It is not allowing, because as I said, like in a source there is only one single component should be there. Either it is a HTTP listener or SQL listener, okay, or JMS listener, whoever it may be, file listener. There is only one source should be there inside the source part.
A source part.
Yeah, in the process side you can put anything, n number of components. So after receiving my request, yes, I got a request from here. Then again, I want to do some operation, whether you want to return a hello response, or you can do some calculations like additions or subtractions, or if you want to do some other things which is related to the business requirement. Okay, like let us say if I want to do some payment, the credit card payment, what we will do? So we will give our information like a CVV and our credit card number, and then uh, uh, what else we need? Date of expire date, right? Once we have given, what we will do, the listener will pick that information and will send it to the process. Now inside the process, what I will do, I want to send a OTP back. Again, here there is one more component where it can generate a OTP and send it back to the listener. Again, the listener will what it will do, the listener will call to the different department, like whether OTP is correct or not, verification department. So that verification department, let us take it here. I'm going to take another verification department, that is a requester. Suppose I want to call this banking sector, like I want to check with the HDFC Bank. For that, uh, credit card, So the OTP, whatever they said, whether it is correct or not, that validation will do here. Once validation is completed, if validation is done, then we'll go for the payment section. Okay. Let us take a Salesforce. If they are using a Salesforce, then I will take the Salesforce. Adapter is a Salesforce.
Okay.
Likewise, I can add on based on my requirement. I can add components. Okay. So you components in the process block, but you can add n number of only single component you can put under the source side.
Source.
Let me delete all these things. Okay, this is my project. That's it. Suppose I want to return some response like a hello. Okay, let me save this, and you can run the code. So if you want to run code, you can use like right click on this workspace, okay, or design center. So you can have options like a run and debug. Otherwise, you can click on this project explorer. Then here you have a run and debug. Okay, and also there is a one more option here in the toolbar, like under the run, you can use the run or debug, or you can use the shortcut. Okay, let me run this. So here initially what it will do, it will get all the dependencies. Okay, so whatever the dependency which is required, basically this is a Java based tool. That is a one thing. Okay, so like in backend, again they use a Java to implement this tool. So this we call it as a Java based technology. Clear? So what it will do, it will gather all the required files or required documents. If they don't have anything, then they can download directly from the internet. Okay, so once it is done, then it is a one time it will happen. Once it is started, then you can test it. Taking time. Once it is completed, then I can do testing from this website. So ideally, what we will do we will use a Postman for the testing. You know, like Postman, right? Do you have any idea on this?
Yes, yes. It's used for testing purpose, right?
Yes. So we can do some unit testing here. So like in a MuleSoft, website, even a website also you can test it, but you can do only get method. So I will let you know like what is a get and post and put methods. There are different type of methods. So here you will send only request. You can submit it, but you cannot send the some data. If suppose you want to send some request, or you want to send some message using a website, using this Chrome, you can't do it. But in a Postman, you can send some body also. You can post some request. Okay, it is running. So see, all these all are the different type of library files which is required to run this tool. Okay, so once it is deployed, then you will get a here you will get like it deployed success response. Once it is deployed successfully, then we can do the testing. So if you see here, there are three tabs here: message flow, global elements, and the configuration. So in configuration, nothing but as I said, like whatever the code we are writing here, it is automatically converted into XML format. So this is an XML format. This is code which is built by the MuleSoft automatically based on your design. Okay, even if you are expert in XML, if you write something here, then that will reflect under the message flow, vice versa.
So I didn't get
basically what this tool is going to generate is, so basically whatever we are doing here in the design mode, under the message flow tab, it will automatically convert into XML. Okay, this is a XML based. It will generate the XML in the backend. Then this XML we will deploy in a server. Okay, so if suppose I'm expert in a XML, then if I write something here, then that will reflect under this message flow. Suppose I'm going to create here another set payload. Okay, So if you see here message flow, again you have a 2 set payloads.
Okay.
Clear? So if we do here, the changes will reflect here. If we do something here, those changes also reflect under the message flow. So now see here, it is a deployed. So now I'm going to give a request here using Chrome, or you need to get some response. Yeah, got the response.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, though there is some scripting exception here. So if you want to erase it, so you can keep the single quote or double quote, then you will get only hello response. Okay, suppose I am doing here some changes here, I want to redeploy it. Okay, see here, there are different type of tabs here. This is a console tab where you can see the logs, and this is a configuration window where you can do the configuration. And if is there any problem in this project explorer, not only this project, but in any project, if you have any issues, then those problems will appear under this tab. Okay, so right now I did the changes, though it is running, I have done some changes here. Then what I can do, I can simply save it. Once I save it, automatically it will do the redeployment. Okay, see here it's doing some build workspace, nothing but it is gathering the changes. Once it's done, then it will try to redeploy your application. If there are minor changes, directly you can save it so that automatically it will redeploy. If suppose if you want to add one more new component like outbound components, then you need to stop the application here and then you can run again. Okay. So you got the hello response. Now you can see the difference between this Postman and our Chrome. So in the Postman, I have a clear picture here. So what type of methods I'm using here and what is my address, and am I using any headers here? Am I sending any body here? If suppose you want to send any body, you can send it. But in Chrome, you don't have any option here. If suppose I want to send this body, then that body will go to the application. Same here, what kind of response we got it. So if you see this status here, 200 nothing but is a success status.
Successful.
Yeah, it's successfully completed. In the same way, if suppose I want to run in a I'm sorry, in a debug mode, you can check the component level, what kind of request we are getting. This particular listener component, what is the request and response, and what is the request response for this particular set payload. If you want to do that kind of debugging, then you can use this debugging option. Okay, it is also same thing. It is going to deploy your application in a server. So once it is deployed, then you can give the request here, but it will stop wherever we have the breakpoint. Okay, and then you can see the give me a second. So there are two type of buggings, to debugging and run mode. Run mode nothing but once you run it and you deploy your application, you cannot stop your request anywhere here. So finally what you will get, you will give a request and you will get a response, either it is a success or error exception. Okay, but if I want to see a component level, what is a request to this component, what is a response from this component, and the same way what is a request to this set payload, what is a response from this set payload, then what I can do, I can do the debugging. If you want to do the debugging, if you want to run in debug mode, you can put a breakpoint. This we call it as a breakpoint. This red symbol is there, right? This is a breakpoint, right? And you can toggle your breakpoint or untoggle it. Okay, so once it is deployed, then if you give the request here, if I give a request from the Postman, what it will come to here up to this set payload and it will stop here. So you can see like what is a request we got from the listener, like from the postman, where we are getting, this is a client right now. So my postman is a client to this application, this project one application, right?
Okay.
So once it is deployed, if you want to write this code in a Java or C, C++, any language, at least it took around 100 to 200 lines.
Yes.
Okay, even though if we have some like library files, it will take some time. And also because you need to create a server also. Right now, if you want to deploy your application, you should have at least one server. Okay, so if it is any web applications, you can, now it is a web application because we are using a HTTP here. I will let you know later what is a web application. So if you want to run any kind of web application, you need a server. Okay,
Yes.
right now where it is deployed, in a server. Where is that server? That server is inbuilt here.
Right.
Okay. This is a mule server. Here it is deploying. This is called it as an inbuilt server. So in Anypoint Studio, it will come along with the Anypoint Studio application. Okay, I will discuss about the server later. So it is deployed in a server. Now I'm going to give a request here. I'm sorry, I got some call. Okay, so I gave the request here, right? It is sending a request. It will wait until it will get a response. So where it is stopped, it stopped here. So okay, you can see this, the black
Yes.
box
Breakpoint.
that can say that. So this is a breakpoint. Okay. So now you can see this is another window called as a mule debugger.
Okay.
Okay, so what we are doing here, what kind of request we got from the listener. Now this is a request we got. So payload, we didn't send any body here. So if we pass any body here, that we call it as a payload, input payload. So we are not sending anything. That is the reason it is a null payload. And there are different type of attributes, like what is a method. So if you see, this is a method, and there are some parameters. Okay, query parameters, or I will let you know later. So there are some parameters, some authorizations, headers, body, all these data will be available here. Okay, and finally, if you click on this next to process, it will send a response back to the postman. So hello world is with a status like a 200. If suppose if I want to pass some body here, let me share some information. Suppose I want to pass this body. Okay, then I can send it. Now you can see the payload here. See, this is a payload. This is a payload which we are getting from the request. So request payload, we call it as a request payload or input from the client. So likewise, you can debug your application. Okay. Any doubt here?
Nothing. Clear.
And one more advantage, like you can create n number of flows, okay, where we have like I will show you Amazon.com. Like here in a single website, we have a different applications here, right? We call it as APIs. There are different type of APIs. So if I click here, there is some other listener. If I click this, there is one more listener. And if I click here, there might be another listener, or same listener can route in different. So those are the things which we can handle under this using these components. There are different type of components here, like a routers, the concept called routers choice. Okay, they can route in different way based on the input, or if you want, you can create a one more API. Like if you drag this HTTP, then it will give another API. So either it might be a different address or same address. So I will tell you that later. Okay. See, you can create a like this. You can create a number of flows. Each flow might be another API. Or entire project you can create a single API with a multiple flows using the routers. There are different type of routers that also I'll explain later. Using those routers, you can create n number of APIs with single project. Okay, if you consider in Java or any C++, if you want to create a one more API like this, again you need to create a one more project with a different web listener. Of course, in Java also, right now there is Spring Boot. So Spring Boot also, is a very similar tool, just like MuleSoft, but there we are writing a code along with the libraries. Here we have a palette. That is the only difference. Yeah. Okay. So this is where we are writing the code, and there is one more website, that is the Anypoint platform, we call it as. This is a MuleSoft website. So here we have other tools, like as I said, like a design center. So where we are doing the design. So like document specification, as I said, like you want to create, initially you need to create the specifications, like what exactly client is expecting and how we are going to create the APIs. So that API specification you can create under this design center. And Exchange is nothing but, if suppose you have created, you created one specification document and you want to share it across the developers or across your team, then you can put under this Exchange. From this Exchange, they can access the information, whatever you posted here. But how they can manage the access? So using this manage center, you can do the access management. Nothing but, so if we consider the Wells Fargo, so right now in our team, so what we have different teams, and in the development there are 10 member people. Okay, 10 members can access this website, but with the different roles and responsibilities. That you can do under this access management. If suppose he is a tester, you don't want edit access, then we can disable that. We'll give only a view option. View option. Or if it is a tester, then we'll give only few access management that you can see.
We can give to testers, right?
Yeah, you can give individual, or you can provide a team wise. Okay, that everything you can do under this portal. That is the accounts. So if you see here, this is a username and this is your company name. Okay, so each one has specific reason here. So going through, we will get to like what is this and what is this, where we will use it. So based on this access management, what happened? Yeah, this is a initially where how MuleSoft will get benefit from the companies like this. You need to subscribe to this MuleSoft from here. So right now I'm going to sign up with, I have signed up with the free trial. This is a free trial. So this is only valid up to 30 days. Okay, and then it will expire.
Again, we have to create.
Yes, but in real time it is not like that. You need to pay something, some amount to the MuleSoft based on the requirement. Like suppose there is a 10 members are going to work on a MuleSoft technology in your company. Okay, so based on that, I will get the I will show you that cloud access. This is a cloud access from the Anypoint Studio, like a MuleSoft. So based on the space of the cloud, they can do some quotations like. See, suppose this is your organization, okay? Inside the organization, you can see the owners and all. So if this is the client ID, client secret, okay? Based on this client ID, client secret, it is a security level, one level. And the same way here, you can see the users. This is the users data. So right now, I'm only one user. If you want, you can add a number of users here. Okay. Once you added the user, so here you can see the roles and responsibilities. Okay. Right now, I'm an administrator, so that I can have all the access here. So if suppose still I need few more things like operate, consume. If suppose I want to do some monitoring, then you can use the data graph administration. So you can take all these permissions. Okay. So as an administration, I can enable or disable here. But if they don't have a admin credentials, so these are the different type of roles are available. Okay. See, this is the Exchange administrator, nothing but where you can do the deployment. So the deployment, whatever we have done here, this is not the real-time deployment. This is we deployed this application in this server. That is the inbuilt server, which came along with the Anypoint Studio. But in real time, we need to do the deployment using the Anypoint platform. Okay, who will do that deployment? That is based on this access, Exchange administration access. So for that, this is a management tool. That is a runtime manager, we call it as, where you can do the deployment. You can access all the Unix servers. Wherever you want to deploy your application, you can deploy your application using this administration tool. That is a runtime server. So this is also a tool where you can provide the security also. There is another tool called API management. So this is API management where you can handle the securities. I'm trying to open both, like a runtime manager and the API management. So these are the tools. I will explain that later. And this is the content what we are going to here. First, we will look up the what is the API-led connectivity. This is another new approach to avoid the few difficulties while creating APIs. Okay, and first I will discuss about this API. What is the API? And after that, we will see this design. Like I said, like initially we need to create the specification, document specifications. So for that, we will use the API design. That we will see. Once we are done with that, then we'll go for the building. So while building, we are going to create one project. So using that project, we will explain different components. So once the build is completed, then we will go for the deployment. Deployment nothing but using these tools like API management and runtime manager. Okay, this is API manager, and where we can do the management like providing securities. Okay, and this is the runtime manager where you can do the deployment and also monitoring also. So that up to chapter 4, we will do a basic experiment where you can cover all the tools which are available in the MuleSoft. Once we are done with this, then we will go for the next like Anypoint Studio. We are going to work on only on Anypoint Studio with the different components and different concepts. Okay, these are the different type of another components like a JMS concept, JMS or VM RESTful services and different type of source component. As I said, like we have a source component here, right? Either it is a listeners, different type of listeners like HTTP. Right now we work on HTTP. The same way we have different type of listeners, JMS listeners, file listeners, and SQL related thing. Okay, SOAP
Yes,
services.
yes.
So these are the different type of services. Yeah, once we are done with that, then we will discuss about the handling, how we are going to handling the errors, exceptions and errors, and different type of routing. So these are the things which we are going to cover in this course. So these are prerequisites. So all are basic tools. If you are aware of Java, then it's well and good. Otherwise, no need to worry about the languages. So these are the small, basic tools which we require as a developer. Okay, these are the software develop fundamentals. Like as a middleware, we should know at least a minimum knowledge on SQL, okay, and Unix concepts and some network concepts.
Oh,
So that's it. So that is about the MuleSoft, and these are the advanced course. So where we are going to implement the securities. Okay, this is overall about the MuleSoft. Any doubts?
no, no. As of now, clear.
Okay then. So I will share that. These content data. You can go through it, and we will discuss if we have anything.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good night. Isha, can I log off? Hello? Hello?